I once sold an entire relationship for $5 and a paper bag full of stickers. True story.
I'm Liv, your chronically online host, and that sentence alone explains every questionable life choice I make.
I was moving, broke, and emotionally lazy, so I did what millions of exhausted humans do. I had a yard sale and labeled a box, "Weird Junk. Take it, please." It was supposed to be a cash grab and a mercy mission for my future self. By the way, when I say sold earlier, I mean I literally priced things and exchanged paper money for artifacts of bad decisions, romance obviously included. Let me introduce the cursed trio. Item 1, a mixtape. Yes, an actual cassette, scrawled in Sharpie with a first name and the words, "Listen if you miss me." I remember thinking it was romantic. It was not. Someone in the crowd actually said, "You labeled it? Bold move." Item 2, a concert wristband I kept like it was a Nobel Prize. We didn't even like the band, but we pretended to for months because it made the story look more interesting than the reality of two people sharing fries politely and then ghosting. Item 3, a tiny shoebox labeled Memories that was actually a filing system for 7 breakups, 3 passive-aggressive Post-its, and 1 pizza receipt with a love note on the back. The note said something like, "Call me, maybe not." Exceptional closure, clearly. So, Saturday morning, I'm folding shirts badly, arranging things like an exhausted boutique, when the neighbor who runs the building's group chat strolls over and squints at my table. "Is that the mixtape?" she asks like she's reading the building newsletter. And then he shows up. My ex. Not a cameo, not a drive-by. He walks up with the casual posture of someone 5 minutes from regretting a haircut and 30 seconds from a really petty decision. He smells like hot coffee and second-hand confidence. His smile is the kind you practice in a selfie camera. He doesn't yell plot twist. He just tilts his head, eyes the shoebox like he's window shopping for nostalgia, and asks, "How much for the mixtape?" My brain flailed between dignity and practicality. I thought about reclaiming it, demanding backstory rights. Instead, I said, $5. He paid, like he'd bought a museum piece, and walked off with my emotional soundtrack in a plastic bag. And then the building chat did what building chats do. It amplified. Someone snapped a photo of the cassette with an artful tilt and posted it with the caption, "Is this the mixtape that got Liv through 3 Tuesdays?" People gathered. Bargaining collapsed into a roast faster than you can say yard sale drama. Then Mrs. Alvarez, who once lent me sugar and never a judgment-free minute, goes, "For $5, you could buy the mixtape or a lifetime of therapy. Both sound necessary." The crowd loved that. Another neighbor pretended to appraise the wristband like it was vintage heartbreak chic and started offering me trade-ins, a succulent, a candle, and once a very sincere apology written on lined paper. At one point, a kid, probably 9, asked if any of the items came with the people who own them. I wanted to say, comes with 1 free backstory and a mild existential crisis. Instead, I said, no, just very specific playlist energy. Watching strangers trade my past like charity was weirdly liberating. The mixtape meant nothing to them and everything to me for a second, which proved that the objects weren't the feelings. I was the one carrying the playlist of those nights, not the cassette. Here's the weird part. Humiliation actually felt freeing.
Weird, right?
Embarrassment stings, but it also deflates this weird, romanticized evidence you keep. If someone else can make a joke out of your mixtape, maybe that's the universe telling you to write a new playlist with better songs and fewer Sharpie dedications.
Hot take. Keep fewer things. Keep better stories. You don't need every receipt from your emotional purchases. Keep the memory. Toss the paper.
Or at least don't label it in permanent marker with someone's name, unless you want a future roast. Practical Blueprint, Best Friend Edition. 1 box for actual treasures you'd fight a raccoon for, 1 digital folder for the selfies and memes that genuinely make you laugh, and 1 trash bag for anything that only haunts your closet. Also, anonymize. If you're gonna keep something related to someone else, scribble over the name. Future you will thank present you for preventing public humiliation at the hands of a group chat. Plot twist, epilogue. The mixtape actually came back around. My ex traded it to a neighbor for a plant. A plant. So somewhere in our building, a pothos is quietly absorbing my bad taste in lyrics. It's thriving, by the way. Not the romance, the pothos. So here's the assignment. If you have a shoebox of receipts and shame, tell me about it. DM, comment, or send a voice note. I want your garage sale horror stories and your best petty trade offers. I read them. I laugh. I probably judge a little. It's therapeutic for both of us. And if today's episode made you laugh or feel slightly better about your own life choices, then my job here is officially done. Please leave a review and tell a friend who needs to feel less alone in their clutter crime. All right, same time next week for more tiny town chaos and big emotional laundry. Until then, stay chaotic. Love, live.